see. And whenever you're ready, if you want to preview Michigan.
All right. Been a long night and early morning of preparation. They're big. They're physical. You know, they're 6'9", 6'10", 7 foot across the front line. Point guard 12. He controls the game. He does a great job. He's very similar to Sharif Cooper, I think, in our league. He obviously shoots it really, really well from three. So it'll be a big challenge. We're going to have to keep him off the glass, which has been an issue for us all season. We're going to have to do a good job on the glass. I mean, you know, they're a 1 seed for a reason. They're top 10 in the country, both offensively and defensively. I think they got the 6th best offense and 7th best defense. So they're a tremendous team. Dickinson's a tremendous player. Brooks at the 2, Wagner's, going to be a first-round draft pick. So they're very, very well coached. They run great stuff on offense. They change their defenses up. They play mostly man, but they play some zone and press some after free throws. So there's a lot of things that we need to prepare for in a short amount of time.
Just a reminder, if you have a question, if you could put it in the chat, and I'll unmute your line.
Hey, Will, it's Andrew Kahn with Ann Arbor News, Michigan. For someone who hasn't seen your team play too much this year, I'm sure you're not going to give me the game plan, but can you speak to how, you see the matchup with Dickinson inside going, just given, his size and skill down there?
Not well. I mean, he's massive. I mean, we haven't, there's just not players like him in the SEC. I guess the closest would be Jeremiah Tillman at Missouri, just in terms of a big physical low post scorer. I mean, he's just got great feel. He can make, you push him off the block, he can make, you watched him more than me, but he makes a little 8-10 footer as well. He just does a great job of getting position. They do a great job of getting him angles on high-low feeds and getting him angles on the blocks to where he can maneuver and be very, very effective. So he's a load. We haven't played a post player like him all season long, and then you space it out, with good shooters. I mean, Michigan leads the Big Ten in 2-point field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage, and free throw percentage. I mean, so you space them out with really good shooters, it makes it difficult to guard.
Then I guess at the other end of the floor, do you feel that maybe, all right, you can pull them away from the basket a little bit, or at least, use your.
We're gonna have to try to. We're gonna have to try to pull them away, and but they do a good job with the scheme. That's why I was talking about the zone and
right.
They play zone to man after 3 or 4 passes. They do a good job of making sure that he's in very, very good position defensively. And, when he gets in foul trouble, obviously he had some foul trouble yesterday. The Maryland game in the tournament, in the Big Ten tournament, he got in foul trouble in the first half, and Maryland was able to jump out to a double-digit lead. So when he gets in foul trouble, it's a little bit different team. But, 51, the backup big would be – there's nobody that looks like him in the SEC, just in terms of just low post. They've got just low post threat after low post threat.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Will, Sheldon Mickles from the Advocate in Baton Rouge. How you doing today?
Good, Sheldon. You didn't get to ask your question yesterday. You were asleep when the moderator went to your turn.
I was trying to unmute, and we were having trouble. Ron had the same trouble, I think. But anyway, I was going to ask you about the height that they bring across the board. It's like you said, it's not just one guy. It's 2, 3, 4 guys, and they have a lot of experience also. They got, I think, 9 seniors and grad guys on their team. You've had some trouble with teams that are like that. Now, Alabama's not as big as Dickinson is, but you've had trouble against guys that are big and are tall. Let's put it that way. The height.
Yeah, it's really, we've got to somehow keep the ball out of the post. Because when they get it in the post, not only do they have high quality scoring opportunities, they're going to get the offensive rebound. And then it's just a matter of whether they make it or we foul them, which way. And all 5 of their starters shoot 77+% from the free throw line. So they're all very, very good, very, very good free throw shooters. And so, we've got to find a way to keep that thing out of the post, keep them from getting deep position and keep them from being able to maneuver down there in the restricted area.
There's nobody that comes close to, like you said, that matching their I guess their
Nobody with their size, their physicality, their scheme. Like I said, I mean, their backup 51 would be, he'd be one of the better low posts. The SEC is just different. Everybody's got spaced out bigs and long athletic guys. The SEC guys look like the kid from Bonaventure yesterday. Just teams don't have these big guys like that. I guess the last team we played that's had somebody like that would have been Houston a couple years ago, but Houston's were 6'8", not 7 foot. They just have huge guys that just try to bully you in there.
Thanks.
Hey, Coach, Matt Trent, WBRZ. I know Darius sometimes in a matchup like this is very prone for him to get into early foul trouble. Have there been conversations or anything in the game plan that you guys are going to do to maybe help that with him specifically?
Pray. No, I mean, we've got we need to keep him on the court. He can give us some floor spacing on offense. It's critical that we keep him, that we keep him out there. And so, we've got to devise a defensive game plan. We put part of it in this morning when we had our practice. We're going to go back and walk through tonight. We've got to devise a defensive game plan that helps Days out as well. We can't leave him down there and expect him just to battle all day down there with one and us to have a whole lot of success.
Anything else for Coach Wade? Here you go, Andrew.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to look at your schedule real quick as far as quick turnarounds and things like that. Yeah, I guess, do you have a sense for how this group will handle processing a scouting report on a completely foreign opponent in a short time?
Yeah, it's a little bit different because the quick turnarounds we had were in the SEC tournament, and we were very familiar with all those teams. We had played Arkansas 2 weeks earlier. We had played, Alabama twice already during the year. I mean, we're in Ole Miss. We're familiar with them. They're one of our permanent partners usually. So no, we haven't had such a quick turnaround, and we put everything we had into the Bonaventure game. So it wasn't like we were watching a lot of film on Michigan or preparing for Michigan. I mean, we were 100% in on the Bonnies, and so we were up. We were up pretty much all night last night and back up early this morning, trying to come up with some things. So we've gotten a crash course, and it's been a little bit better just in the sense that they've had to play different without Livers, and so you've got 3 or 4 games without Livers, and so you can focus in on those. But some other teams did some things to them that we need to try to take advantage of, and so we've had to go back and comb through some of those games as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, Ethan Sears from Hoops also covered Michigan. I'm wondering just how different on film do they look without Livers, and how does it affect kind of your game planning to know he won't be there?
I mean, they're a great team either way. Obviously Livers gives them a little bit more floor spacing, I think, for those big guys to maneuver, but they're elite with or without him. I mean, they're one of the handful of teams that could win the whole thing, and so they're very, very good. They were very, very good with him, and I think they're good without him. I think there was an adjustment period for him. I think it's always a shock to your system. And I think there's a little bit of an adjustment period to playing without him and not having him out there. He seemed to me just watching him, you guys follow it a lot closer. It seemed to me he was a emotional leader for him as well. They kind of looked to him emotionally. And so, you know, I think that was maybe a little bit of an adjustment when he went out, but they seem to be just fine. Watched them against Texas Southern yesterday, and some of the game time against Ohio State without him as well in the tournament.
Coach, can you speak to kind of maybe reaching here, but the advantage that maybe you have as a coach over Juwan Howard? Like, he's played in a lot of these big games, and but yeah, I mean, he's played in a lot of these big games, but he hasn't coached in a lot of big tournament games. Is there an advantage there?
No, I mean, their staff's tremendous. I mean, Phil Martelli, I'm familiar with him from when he was in the Atlantic 10. He took St. Joe's to a ton. They've got a ton of tournament experience. Jay Smith's one of their administrative guys. And I think Jay Smith coached Juwan when he was there the first time. And he's as good a big man coach and as good a tournament coach as there is in the country. And, you know, their other assistants up for a ton of head coaching jobs. I mean, they've got a phenomenal staff. If anything, I think they've got an advantage just with how good their coaching staff is.
Coach Glenn Gilbo, USA Today, Louisiana. How much preparation or can you take from the fact that you played Osun well yesterday? He's kind of a center who stays in the paint like Michigan. Does that prepare you better than maybe another opponent would have?
No, not really. They're two totally different players. The way, you know, St. Bonaventure gets the ball to Osun on the move and off pick, you know, this is just straight bully ball, cross screens, post up, hard duck ins. Now they get that, you know, they ball screen and roll them and have a replace guy to set the angle for the high low pass and for some of the other actions that they run. But I mean, this is totally different type post player and totally different methods of getting the ball to him. I mean, they're both tall. I guess that's a similarity, but the way they maneuver, the way they go about things is totally different.
We have time for one more. Sheldon.
Hey, Will, I think there's been some games where you've been out length, I guess, if that's a word, but I think the Mississippi State game, the Missouri game, and the Alabama game come to mind. I think you did pretty well on the boards in those games. Does that kind of give you a little hope that you can get the guys to, you know, take on these guys?
Well, we've got to make sure that, like I said, the whole thing with the rebounding is we've got to make sure that they can't, you know, if we give them their first shot around that restricted arc, we're going to have a unbelievable difficult time rebounding. We've got to keep that ball out of the restricted area. We've got to keep that ball out of what we call the post box, the box that's taped on our floor. We've got to be able to keep that ball out of that area. And if we can do that, we'll have opportunity to rebound the ball. I don't mean we're going to get them, but we're going to have an opportunity. If they get it in that restricted arc and get that first shot up on the backboard, it's going to be very, very difficult for us. And in those games also, we've been able to kind of control the game some with our offense. And so we've got to be able to run good offense. We've got to be able to move their defense. You know, we've said the whole time talking about Dickinson, like we've got to be able to score. They've also got a top 10 defense now. It's like they got the 7th best defense in the country. So we've got to be able to score against their length, to score against their size as well. So that's going to be critical.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Days is here.
Okay, we got Darius Days here. Glenn, we'll start off with you.
Hey, Darius, this is Glenn West. Yeah, Coach Wade was just talking to us really about the rebounding and how big that's going to be for you guys in this game in particular. Just talk about the message because you're kind of the enforcer down there with the boards. Just talk about the message to you guys about how to just be on attack with y'all's rebounding this tomorrow night.
Coaches put emphasis on rebounding, and that's what we did the other night, and that's what we want to do tomorrow night. So they have some really big guys, and rebounding is very big for us to win this game. So this is what we're gonna have to do.
Hey, Darius, you kind of been known and have become known as a guy who likes to do the dirty work. Is this the kind of game, as a basketball player, a competitor, you kind of live for to go head to head with some big guys and kind of muscle your way in because you're kind of the biggest guy on the team, I guess, a physical player?
Definitely, it's going to be a very physical game. It's going to be really, really fun. They have big guys. We have me, Trenton, and Josh Gray. Josh Gray is going to, help us a lot tomorrow night. I hope he has a great game. Like as I said before, it's going to be a very, very physical game. Dickerson is a plotter big. He just like to lay on you, wedge you under. Get deep post position and do his work inside. So it's going to be a real big challenge for us.
You like to use the phrase popcorn game. Is this a popcorn game?
Oh, definitely. It's gonna be a great one. It's gonna be, just bring extra popcorn. It's gonna be a good one. Yeah, definitely. Most definitely it's gonna be a good game. So yeah.
Darius, how often have you gone against a guy as tall as Dickinson? Is this the tallest guy or one of them?
It's one of them. Mizzou, Tillman, Arkansas. It's a couple guys in the SEC that kind of reminds me of him, but he's a different guy.
What do you do when a guy's a few inches taller than you?
I'm gonna have to work extra hard. I got to get into his legs more. Since he's taller than me, box him out a little bit lower than I'll box out other guys. And try to get better position to get to the ball before he does.
Thanks.
Darius, I'm wondering how important is it with Dickinson to kind of get him to catch the ball further away from the basket?
It's very big. He's a low post scorer. Left shoulder, right shoulder. He mostly want to get over his right shoulder. And get to his left jump hook. For him to get out and we kick the ball out, he catch the ball further out, is really going to help us inside because, coach gave us a plan what we're going to have to do to, make it hard for him. And, it's going to be a challenge for us down low, but we're going to take care of business.
Anything else for Darius? Andrew?
Hey, Darius, all this talk about Michigan's size, is there, what else from, what you've been told and your film study stands out, about what they do well?
Like a problem for us the whole season, as everybody know, defensive rebounding, they go rebound the ball. They send in like 3 or 4 guys in, and sometimes the 2 guards getting back. So, it's going to be a challenge for us on the glass as well. The biggest part is just rebound, as I said before when I first got on the interview. It's just we just have to rebound the ball, and that's the key to winning the game tomorrow. You just rebound the ball.
Thanks.
Hey, Darius. So Bill was also telling us, offensively, you guys are going to have to be really crisp. They're a very, very solid defensive team. At what point yesterday, because you guys obviously started off a little slow offensively, but at what point did you guys really feel like you started to click? And just how can you carry that over into this?
When we started moving the ball and everybody, it was really just Andre. Andre just came and gave us that spark. He had a couple shots for us. Got in, got rebounds, putbacks for us, and it really was Andre. Got us going. Finding open guys. Camps got going. Devontae hit a big 3. Trenton was doing his thing, probing and finding people for shots, and then we just got going, and then the game started picking up. They tried to slow the game down. some people try to slow the game down on us. So, that's not really the way we like to play. We like to get up and down and transition. But, then the game picked up and then, everything started moving around. Everybody started hitting shots. Everybody started, getting excited.
Okay. Thank you, Darius. Appreciate it.